disclaimer saying we don't give any buy, sell, hold recommendations. We're not licensed brokers, nor do we want to be. And everything we talk about in this webinar is for educational purposes only. So, like I said, my name's David Kushner. I've been trading the markets for over 25 plus years. I trade stocks, options, I trade futures, and some Forex. My background was I had an automotive parts business that I started when I was 18 years old, had that business for 28 years and sold it in 2005. And since then, I've been a full-time trader. All right, so before we get into it, I just want to welcome everybody to the webinar. All right, so like most of you, you probably have a whole shelf full of indicators trading systems that came with a lot of empty promises of helping you become more profitable and more consistent trader. So I know that I have probably 3 or 4 hard drives full of trading stuff that I probably spent a small fortune on, and it's totally useless. So when I saw a webinar that Mark Sachs did, and I saw the money flow tracker system for the first time, I quickly realized that this methodology isn't based around the same old indicators that everybody else teaches, but more based on mathematical modeling and triple and quadruple screen analysis. I now only trade with institutional money flow. So when I talk about order flow or money flow, I'm only talking about institutional money flow. And it's made me much more profitable and much more consistent trader. And now I'm running over a 70% win-loss rate. All right. So the agenda for this webinar is how the money flow tracker software works, the high probability setups, the unbreakable rules to follow, how I trade breakouts and sidestep losing trades, the money flow tracker auto trader, and how to pass the evaluations to become a funded trader. Now, if you have any questions, just put them in the questions box and I'll either answer them or Rory will answer them, but we'll answer them. So those who stay till the end of this webinar, it's about 45 minutes, we have a very special discount plus some additional software as a quick action bonus. So why are you here? Can anybody answer me that question? Why are you here? Probably you're here because you're not getting the results you want yet. You're not here to waste time. You're not here to waste your money. And you're sick of buyer's remorse. So what do I mean by sick of buyer's remorse? Means that you buy a system, you trade with it a few weeks, you make some money, then you lose a bunch of money, and then you make some money, and it's like you're just spinning your wheels. So you end up getting rid of that system and looking for the next system. You know, you have to be able to stick with a system and learn it inside and out and not keep changing. I've done that a lot of my trading career, but I've been trading with the money flow tracker software now for 4.5 years, and it's been the best 4.5 years of my trading. So people will say, well, show me a solution. Of what? You want to hit consistent winner, excuse me. You want to hit consistent winners. You want a solid trading performance that repeats. And you know, the markets are here for us to extract money from it every day. So it means if you don't get a setup and you don't have anything to trade, it's okay not to trade every day. Okay. So you need 4 things to create trading success. And those 4 things are, you need software. Software to provide you with a competitive edge over all other traders. The second thing is you need that edge to track the direction of money flow. What did I say before? Institutional money flow. The third thing is etched in stone rules to follow, and this will eliminate discretion. And the fourth thing, which I believe is the most important thing, is patience. Patience to let the trade set up. You know, if we don't have setups, we don't take trades. So you have to have patience. And this will keep you out of choppy markets. So I'm going to break down the system in detail for you. But let me show a couple trades that we've been taking. Here's a trade on AMC for 139%. This was an options trade. Another options trade on GME for 188%. A futures trade on 30-year bonds at 41 ticks for $1,281. The euro, nice trade on the euro. You know, I can show you different trades that we've taken every day, but that's not going to help you. and I'm here to help you. So it's like you have a problem making money. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here, right? Why? Because you don't have the proper tools to efficiently manage your trades. You overtrade, you revenge trade, and you make impulsive decisions. This is one of the biggest pitfalls that most traders fall into. You lack consistency. You trade with indicators that lag price, and you don't have a mathematically proven trade methodology. So all these things lead to blowing up trading accounts. So my commitment to you is to bring this to an end. So why do they say that 95 to 98% of traders that use the following go broke? Like price action, MACD, Elliott wave, divergence signals, price patterns, Fibonacci, scan. None of these things have any future predictive property. Now, I'm not saying that the money flow tracking can predict the future, because first of all, that would not be true, because nothing can predict the future, not even Miss Cleo. Anyway, but I'm not saying that it can predict the future. But if you follow the rules and you follow the setups, it gives you very high probability trades. So, Mark Sachs had 35 years in the study of the field of applied mathematics. He was a professor at Jefferson University. And after 8 long years, he engineered the software system and trade methodology that can improve your trade performance. And we have over 500 traders between our 3 trade rooms that we trade shoulder to shoulder every day. So before we get started, I'd like to share my trade journal with you. So I use an online trade journal, and it happens to be called EdgeWonk. So I'm going to log in here, 2025. And every day I do a performance report, and every day it imports it, and then I export it from NinjaTrader. And then I click on this button, and I just click here, and I import the Excel file. All right, and it brings it into this program. So what it does is, this is the NinjaTrader trade ID, the entry date, the exit date, the instrument, everything, whether it was a winning trade or a losing trade. It brings in all my data. And what this allows me to is look at my data like a quant trader. I look at my data and see what's going on, see what I'm doing right, see what I'm doing wrong. So we have a nice equity curve for this year. We're running, if you look at here, we're running a 75.62% win rate with a profit factor of 2.49, which basically means that for every dollar I risk, I'm making $2.49, right? So you can see here, let's go back to, I don't care, August, maybe July looks better. Look how many days in July we didn't trade. 1, 2, 3, this was July 4th, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 days. Well, I was on vacation these 3 days, all right? But still, 13 days. What did we do in July? Monthly report. July, we did $7,082.50. And I didn't even trade 13 days out of the month. Let's look at June. Look at June. We didn't trade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days out of the month. And look what we did in June. $10,585. All right. So why am I showing you this? I'm showing you this because it just proves that you don't have to trade every day to make money. The days that we didn't trade, why? Because we didn't have any setups. The markets were really choppy. The markets were low volume. We didn't get any setups, so we didn't take any trades. And it's just as simple as that. We don't get a setup, we don't take a trade. All right? So the market consists of many small retail traders represented by these marbles, right? Plus one or more large institutional traders represented by the big purple ball. Well, if you know that most retail traders lose money, why would you want to trade along with them, right? We want to trade when the institutions are trading. Right? We want to trade along with them because they are the ones that move the market. All right. So the money flow tracker software has 3 key metrics that determine money flow. Right. The first one is triple screen analysis of correlative markets using our AI engine, triple screen analysis assessment of order flow, and triple screen assessment of the gear. So what do I mean by triple screen assessment? So I like to keep things really simple. So basically, triple screen assessment is just what it is, 3 time frames in agreement. So for instance, if you're trading a 2-minute, your mid time frame would be a 6-minute, and your higher time frame would be an 18-minute. So we trade with Unirenko bars, so we use range bars as our higher time frames. So the first most powerful force that moves price is triple screen assessment of order flow. So I know as soon as I put this slide up, what's going through everybody's mind is, well, look at all these candles, look at these numbers on the right side, on the left side, on the bottom right, on the bottom left, on the right side, outside the candle, on the top of the candle. It is virtually impossible for you to make heads or tails of what is going on here and make good trading decisions when the markets are moving. Yeah, it's easy to look in hindsight and see, well, okay, this candle, whatever. But when the market's moving and you don't know what's happening, it's impossible, okay? But we came up with our own order flow candles. So what we did was we took the order flow candles and we got rid of all the numbers. And we outlined the candle. So if the candle outline is green, means the delta of that candle is positive. And if it's red, means the delta of that candle is negative. So this is the way I look at it. If I have a green outline candle, I have more buyers than sellers in this candle. If I'm long, that's what I want to see. If I'm short, I want to see red outline candles. Easy peasy, keep it easy, keep it simple. The simpler it is, the better you do. Most people do best when you keep a system simple, right? And triple screen assessment means we want order flow going in the same direction on each time frame. So this is a screenshot of what our charts look like. They're very clean. They're very easy to read. They're very easy to see the setups. All our indicators are represented by these colored lines on the bottom, except the bottom one. And we'll get into what each thing means, but I just wanted to show you how clean and easy to read these charts are. So the second powerful force that moves price is triple screen assessment of the gear and also the wicks of our hybrid candles. So again, triple screen assessment of the modified Laguerres, we want to see it going in the same direction on 3 time frames. So Arthur, I'm using two contracts, except on MNQ, I'm only using 6 micros. And you'll see why I'm using 6 micros a little further on in the webinar. All right, and the wicks. So if you have a wick that opens from the previous candle close, goes up the bar size and closes, the next candle opens from that bar's close, goes up the bar size. These are momentum candles. But when you have a long wick inside the candle, we use these long wicks to our advantage. And I'll explain to you a little bit how we use it to our advantage. And the modified Laguerre. So what we did was we took all these indicators, we added our own algorithm to them, and we developed the modified Laguerre. Now, the modified Laguerre does not show divergence like other oscillators. It shows strength of trend, right? So it's represented by this bottom colored line. So when it crosses below 20, it will turn red. When it crosses above 20 and sloping up, it will be lime green. When it crosses over 80, it will turn dark green. And when it crosses below and sloping down, it will be orange. Ultimately, we want to see it pinned at 100 or pinned at 0. So we get our acceleration dots. All right, any questions? Keep putting them in there. Now the quant lines. Our quant lines are using our AI program. And we have 28 market components that are being examined by that AI system for correlation. Now, most people don't understand. Most people understand what correlation is. Just in the name, you have to understand what correlation is. But, it's very powerful. And most people don't pay attention to it, but we do. And why? Well, if you have ES, NQ, RTY, and YM going up all at the same time, that's powerful. But let's say you have NQ, RTY, and YM going up, and you have ES going down. What's going to happen to ES? ES is either going to turn around and follow the rest of the market up, or it's going to go sideways. So, correlation is very powerful. It's like the old saying, a rising tide floats all boats. Well, in the market is kind of the same. If you're trading gold, if you're trading metals, Don't you want to see all the metals going in the same direction? Or if you're trading the energy markets, don't you want to see them all moving in the same direction? You know, it's powerful stuff. So, you know, back 4.5 years ago, when I started trading with this, I started doing the room probably 4 years ago. I said to the team over at Rightline, I said, look, we need 4 time frames in agreement. Okay, so we developed what we call the C2 indicator. And what it does is it just adds another time frame. So whatever 3 times 18 is, that would be your higher C2 setting. Because we wanted to be able to see a good solid trend. And 3 time frames in agreement is not enough for us to see a good solid trend. So the C2 indicator is represented on the chart by these stair-stepping lines above the candles, green going up and red going down. So let's put it all together. It's super simple. So here are the rules and here are the setups. First thing you want is a colored background, either green or dark pink. This means you have 3 time frames in agreement. The next rule is we want the C2 because we want 4 time frames in agreement. The next rule is we have a solid line and a dot dash line. We want to see the dot dash line below the solid line going up and above it going down. Next rule is if you run into support or resistance, whether it's a pivot, whether it's higher time frame support, whether it's the VWAP, it could be anything that you're using for support or resistance. You must wait till 3/4 of the bar closes above or below that pivot, and then you must wait for a pullback candle. And I'll explain to you in a little bit why we wait for the pullback candle. Both quants must be in agreement. The top one is short term, the bottom one is long term. They must be either red or green. The multiple time frame Laguerre must be red or green in agreement with the quants, and the modified Laguerre must be red or green and pinned at 100 so you get the acceleration dots. So this trade here was 63 ticks, which on crude oil is $630 per contract. All right, so this is what I really like about the Money Flow Tracker software, is that it will keep you out of choppy, non-trending markets. Markets which usually lead to losses, where most traders lose money. So yeah, I don't know how many people come to me in the very beginning, they subscribe to the Money Flow Tracker, and they say to me, you know, I make money one day, and the next 2 days I give it all back. And I make money another day, and the next day I give most of it back. And at the end of the week, I either made a little money, lost a little money, or didn't do anything. So it's okay not to trade every day. If you were to knock out most of your losing trading days when you're trying to trade choppy, non-trending markets, you would be amazed how much better you would feel and how much better your account would do. So here is a trade that I took on crude oil. Now, this broke the pivot. I got a pullback here, was really fast pullback. It like pulled back and went down. Then I got another pullback. So I placed my order to sell on down close. It filled me. I almost got stopped out, but it went down. I hit my first profit target of 10 ticks, which is $100 on crude oil. And then I exited when the dot dash line changed color from red to green, red to yellow, or from green to yellow, or green to red. It's called exit on line change. So that was another 55 ticks. So that's $550 plus 100 is $650 total on this trade. And this particular trade, I was trading 6 accounts. So 6 times, you know, $650. Had a great day. This trade took less than 1 minute. Less than 1 minute. And I made over $3,000 on one trade. And I was done trading for the day. The Money Flow Tracker software gives you clear and exact entries, clear and exact exits, and you get all your targets that are pre-configured with the ATMs. All right. So now I'm going to show you how I trade breakouts with the money flow tracker software. I call it the pull back and go strategy. All right. So let me grab my pen here really quick. All right. So this is a pivot right here. The shaded area is higher time frame support. So the market came down, it broke the pivot by 3/4 of a candle. I got the pullback candle, right? So it's coming down, and stop. I get this pullback candle. So as this candle is pulling back halfway or more, that's when I click on my button to say sell on down close. And it places an order one tick below the low of the candle. So why do I do this? Well, you know, market makers run the market down through a support area or whatever, and then pull it back, also known as a stop run, liquidity grab, whatever you want to call it, right? All the time they do that. But, you know, let's say the market's coming down, and in this case, it kept going. But what if it went up like this, right? What if the market went up like this and this candle closed up, right? Well, if this candle closes up, this order automatically gets canceled, right? And this is how what we call sidestepping a losing trade. We have to wait for that pullback candle. So sometimes we don't get a pullback candle, you know, until maybe all the way down here, and we won't take the trade all the way down here. But most of the time, we get a pullback candle after it breaks the pivot within the first few candles. Yes, and sometimes we do miss a trade because we're waiting for a pullback candle, but that's okay because we far more sidestep what we call losing trades than miss a winning trade once in a while. As a matter of fact, I think today we had in the room 4 trades that we sidestepped losing trades. So, you know, it's a great strategy. Here's another one on RTY. Broke the pivot, got the pullback candle, placed the order, first profit target, second profit target. Here's 2 of them on crude oil. Here's another trade on crude oil. Here's 2 of them on the Canadian dollar, right? Now, I want to talk about a different topic. I want to talk about the money flow tracker auto trading strategy called the revolutions. We call it Revo for short. So what does it do? Well, it took this trade here for 704 ticks. It took this trade here for 665 ticks. It took this trade here for 1,016 ticks. So what does it do? Well, let me open up the strategy and I'll show you what it does. So you remember the rules we just went over, right? Who remembers the first rule? Somebody? Anybody? We have like 80 something people here. Somebody tell me what the first rule was. Okay. Bias and C2, right? We always want to have the 3 time frames in agreement and the C2, which brings in 4 time frames. So we turn it on. We want the Laguerre signal to be a red or green, so we turn it on. We want the multiple time frame Laguerre to be red or green, so we turn it on. I'm not going to go into all these just mean the color of the moving averages. We want the MA diff, right, criteria. We don't want the MA diff to trade above 350. So let me explain to you what the MA diff is. So if you look on the chart here, the MA diff is represented right here in this indicator, right? This one here says 192, right? That's the MA diff number. Now, the MA diff is telling us how far away from the 50 are we? All right, how far away from the 50 are we? When we get too far away from the 50, we expect a pullback candle within a couple bars. And this happens all the time, and we usually get the pullback candle with a couple bars. Sometimes it's maybe 2 bars, maybe 3 or 4 bars. And then sometimes it just keeps going and going and going, right? So we don't want it to trade when it's our version. It's kind of our version of being able to tell if it's overbought or oversold. Now, if we go down here, we say we want to check clear the pivots. We want to check clear the volume zones, which are the higher time frame support resistance. and we want both quants to be red or green. Now, the first target is very important, 81 ticks. And why? Because if you don't have from this point to this point at least 81 ticks, so let's say this is 67 ticks, right? It will not take this trade. It will not take this trade. It will wait until we have a bar that completely closes above the pivot. All right, so it won't trade into support or resistance. It waits till it clears it to trade into it. All right. Let me get my, okay. It has built-in money management. So let's say we have lots of people that trade with this. They still have jobs, but they still want to trade. So I tell them like this, go ahead and put in $1,000 profit for the day and $500 risk. So they have it turned on, because you can tell it when you can have it turn on and off whenever you want, right? And either they come home and they either made some money, or they lost some money, or they didn't have any trades. Okay. If you're up, let's say you're in a trade, you're up $1,500. It's not going to close the trade at 1,000, but it won't take another trade after that. If you're in a trade and you're down 500, you're out, you're done, right? It's 2-to-1 risk reward. Okay. So it has built-in money management. And you, like I said, you can have it go on and off whenever you want. And this works really good. So I have a video of a trade that I took. Now, the reason why I recorded this was because it hit my first profit target like in 30 seconds, which is kind of rare for it. It usually has to move around, you know, NQ moves up and down, up and down, up and down. But this one happened really fast. So I turned my recording on really quick. I'm just going to fast forward here, right? So we're up 173 ticks. We're up 350 ticks. We're up 519 ticks. Now, if you look over here, the MA diff is 412. I started moving my stop closer to the market because the MA diff was over 350, right? So I'm going to keep playing it, and I kept moving it closer and closer. So we're up 528, we're up 570 ticks, and we're out at 570 ticks. So 4 micros, take 2 off at $80, so that's $80 profit, right? And take the other one off at 570 ticks. So that's 570 ticks plus 80 is $650 on this trade. And I didn't do anything but turn it on and let it take the trade. All right. Do we get trades like this every day? No. But here's a trade from today. Right? This trade here was the entry, took it here, exit on line change, 166 ticks, right? I probably would have been exiting somewhere like in here, because the MA diff was getting, I watched this trade was getting higher and higher. It's on my other workspace, so it's not shown. The trade markers aren't on this, it's on my other desktop. Right, so I think what I did when I was up 200 ticks, I moved my stop and locked in 200 ticks, and then I got stopped out on the next candle. All right, that's just the way I did it. So that was a trade for today. Here's a trade 4 o'clock in the morning. This trade here. Then exit on the line change would have been 202 ticks. Right, this one was really early in the morning. This was last night at almost 7 o'clock Eastern, which was kind of weird because you usually don't get trades that high. But this was on the 17th. This was yesterday. This was this was FOMC day. So I just wanted to show you some charts with trades on. So let's keep going here. So I showed you all the settings. This is the equity curve for 2021, and this is the equity curve for 2022. Now, I lost all my data for 2023, but here it is for 2024. So this was the MNQ swing trade, we call it, for 2024. made roughly about $44,000 last year. Just this strategy made $44,000 last year. All right, I already showed you that. See, now how to pass the evaluations. Don't focus on the carrot. So what do I mean by that? Focus on the process, okay? Focus on trading well. You know, I have two friends. My friend Steve works for a brokerage firm, and my friend John is a floor trader. So I asked him, John, one day, I said, what do floor traders do? How do they make money? He says, first of all, you just said, how do they make money? I said, yeah. He says, they don't worry about making money. They worry about their risk. I said, what do you mean? He says, floor traders are more concerned about their risk than their profits. If they concern themselves with their risk, their profits take care of themselves. I'm like, I was kind of baffled on that one because it kind of didn't make sense to me at first. But then I started thinking about it. You know, he said they focus on trading their methodology or trading their whatever they're doing with their trading. You know, he said, if you focus on trading well, the profits will take care of themselves. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to try that. And, you know, God darn it, worked. You know, the challenge or evaluations are really designed to make you fail because of some of the parameters they put in place. And they seem to always be changing their rules. These prop firms keep changing rules all the time, right? So it's hard for me to keep up. Like how many trading days to pass, right? And the trailing drawdown. So the trailing drawdown is the biggest reason why most people blow out, you know, prop accounts. You know, but you know what? I've blown out my share of prop accounts. Believe me, I'm not afraid to admit it. Why? Because, you know, sometimes the markets are really choppy. Sometimes the markets don't follow through. You never know. But you know what? I'd rather blow out a prop firm account that costs me $15 a month because I only do them when they're on special, like for 91 or 90% off, than blow out my own live account. You know, so, you know, I don't blow out too many prop. I haven't blown out too many prop accounts lately. But I did blow out one the other day because I made a stupid mistake in my trade copier and it just happened. All right. It wasn't because of my trading. It was because of my trade copier. But that's okay because it just renewed this morning and it reset. So, you know, if you think that you get a $50,000 account, that you're trading $50,000 account, you're wrong. All right. You're 100% wrong. You're trading your drawdown. So I look at my drawdown as my account balance. So my process is I don't risk any more than 10% of my drawdown on any one trade. So which means that I don't risk more than $250 on a trade. So on NQ, I have to use we use a 40 tick stop. So 40 ticks at $5 a tick is $200 per contract. That's $400 per trade. It's over my risk parameter. So I have to trade micros. So I trade 6 micros and keeps me within my risk parameter. Now, your win rate versus your reward. So if you're a one-to-one trader, which means you risk $1 to make $1, you must be 60% win rate in order to be profitable. Now, if you're a 2-to-1 trader, right, it drops drastically. And most professional traders are only 40% win rate traders. Okay, and my friend John told me, he said, Dave, you think that these guys are 70, 80% win rate? I said, I don't know. He said, no. He said, they're less than 50%. He says, but they manage their risks so good and they don't worry about their rewards. And when they have trades, they're pretty much, and I don't like to use this, the old saying is they cut their losers short and let their winners run. But he says that's what they do. He says if they have a trade, they let it go against them, they're max risk. Once it goes against them, they're out. He says, but they ride those winning trades as much as they can. So if you're a 3-to-1 trader, okay, which means if you're a 2-to-1 trader, you could be wrong 6 out of 10 times and still make money. And if you're a 3-to-1 trader, you could be wrong 7 out of 10 trades and still make money. So let that sink in, right? So rather than avoid risk, take intelligent risk. And this will give you that competitive edge. Just like this little mouse. He wants that piece of cheese, right? What's his risk? His risk is that this mousetrap triggers and this thing comes over and hits him in the head. So what's his intelligent risk? He puts on a helmet to not feel the blow in the head or hurt as much. That's competitive. That's a competitive edge. So I've showed you everything that I can show you about the money flow tracker software. I shared my personal trade results with you. I showed you how the money flow tracker software works, how easy it is to trade with it. So now you have two choices. If you're making money and you're consistent, then God bless you and keep on doing what you're doing. But I would imagine for most of you, why you're here is because you're not as consistent as you want to be, and you're not making the money that you want to make. So take action today, and and join the thousands of traders. We probably have 500 traders between our trade rooms, but we have thousands and thousands of traders that trade with the money flow tracker software every day. Now, I trade from 9 a.m. to 11. I only trade 2 hours a day, and that's it. And then I'm done for the day. So the money flow tracker software has the benefits, and the features are easy to learn. The charts I showed you, the charts are super clean, super easy to learn. You get all the workspaces. It's perfect for beginners. I wish that I had this when I first started trading. Otherwise, I would have saved myself a small fortune. It's perfect for any account size. I have traders in the room that are happy trading a couple micros. And then I have one guy in the room that he trades 200, 150 to 200 contracts a trade. 150. I don't know if I could stomach that if it went against me, but he's been doing it a long time, and that's what he does. And I have a couple of traders that trade 10 contracts. Most people trade 2, right? And you can trade futures, you can trade Forex, you can trade stocks, you can trade the options of the stocks with the signals, and you can trade cryptos. So for the first traders to come aboard, we have some powerful additional software. Like I said earlier, you'll get some fast action bonuses. So the first thing you'll get as part of your practice, the package, is the scanner. So I'm going to pull my scanner down here because I trade with Unirenko bars. So let's say on CL, right? We trade a 2-5-10 bar. It's flat. I don't need to look at it. Gold, we trade a 4-10-20 bar. It's flat. Don't need to look at it. Let's say we were trading YM on a 2-5-10, which we don't, but it says buy, right? Doesn't mean that you have a trade. It means that you should go look at the chart. You might have a potential setup. That's what it means. So you'll get this as a $9.99 value. You'll get that as part of your package. You get the NDT. Now, this is what we use. It's a strategy. This is what we use to exit and enter our trades. When we sell buy on up close or sell on down close, this is what we're using. This is where you put your ATM. This is where you put your order, your account, right? This is a $14.99 value. You get this as part of your package. You get the Masterclass series on futures, Forex, stocks, and options. These are very good. I've watched these a couple times, as a matter of fact. You get 1 month in my trade room. Now, our trade rooms were part of a study by this Dr. Victor Allen. And in his study, he reviewed more than 225 trading websites and evaluated them using several factors, including their transparency, proven track record, and assisting traders with educational materials and online support. And we came out on top. And this was published in Traders World and Stock and Commodities Magazine. So you get 1 month in my trade room. So what we're doing is, for everybody today, is we're doing 50% off our normal price. So 50% off on a quarterly is $5.97, 50% off on an annually is $11.97, and 50% off on lifetime is $19.97. And you will get the money flow tracker, you will get the auto trader. Let me tell you something, the auto trader by itself is worth it. You'll get the market scanner, you get 1 month in my trade room, right? This is a great deal. I paid more than this when I did 4 years ago, right? Do I only trade automatic? I trade the MNQ with the auto trader because it moves the most, and everything else I trade manually, right? We trade manually. So here's my commitment to you. when you subscribe is, and if in order to subscribe, let me go back to that other slide. What you need to do is go to the chat box in your GoToWebinar control panel, not the questions box, the chat on the very bottom. And there's a link in there. You click on the link, it will bring you up to this web page. So you scroll down here and you click on, okay, you know, I want to do a yearly. So you click on it, it automatically applies a coupon. Did it automatically apply it? Usually does. I don't know why it's not. Let me see, try to read it. Okay, say 50 is not. Let me try this. All right, they're gonna have to fix this link. Hey, Rory, are you here? I know you're here. One second. You need fix. I don't know why. All right. Why is this not showing? All right, we'll get it. He said use coupon code. I did. I'll get him to fix the coupon code. Hold on a second. 1 second. Okay, we'll get that fixed. I'll just keep going on. All right. Okay, so my commitment to you is when you subscribe to Money Flow Tracker software is to help you become a successful trader. Remember, if you're not successful, it's not your fault. It's just you're not using the right tools to be successful. It's like, I use the analogy as, it's like trying to pound a nail in a piece of wood with a screwdriver. Yeah, if you sit there long enough and hit it, you'll probably get it in that piece of wood. But if you use the right tools, a hammer, okay, a couple blows with the hammer and you're done, and it's in with no problem. Anyways, I'll get the, he'll get the link fixed. Let me see something here. Let me get the fix it. Okay, if you're not successful, it's not your fault. You know, the money flow tracker software is totally unique and will give you the edge to trade with institutional order flow. So again, my commitment to you is to teach you not just about how to read the setups, but also help you develop that mental mindset. You must have, hold on a second. Somebody calling me? Okay, the link, the 50% code is not working. All right. All right, anyways, we'll get it. So let's keep going. So if you're interested in the Money Flow Tracker software, if you put your name and your phone number in the questions box, Roy will give you a call right after the webinar, and you can do your purchase over the phone until they get the link fixed. I don't know why the link wasn't working for some reason. It always seems to work. I don't know if it's a glitch somewhere or what, but it's not applying the code. All right, so we'll get that taken care of. But if you're interested in the software and you'd like to make the purchase, leave your name and your phone number in the questions box, and Rory will give you a call right after the webinar, and you can take care of that. All right. So look, it's a well-known fact that 95 to 98% of day traders and swing traders are losing money. This is a retail trader, right? You know, my friend Steve works for a brokerage firm, and he tells me all the time, he says, you know, he says, we love it when a retail trader opens up a trading account. I said, what do you mean? He said, like, I said, when they open a trading account, I said, okay. He says, because we know within a week or a month or maybe a month and a half that they're going to lose all that money. I said, really? He says, yeah, absolutely. I said, but not our traders. Why? Because our traders are trading along with the institutional trader. So the institutional traders call retail traders guppies. That's what they call these guys. They might as well just flush their money, right? Those are the guppies. That's what professional traders call retail traders, right? But we're trading with the institutional traders. So we're not getting caught up with that retail stuff, and we're making money because we trade with institutional order flow. So again, we're doing 50% off a quarterly, 50% off annually, and 50% off lifetime. And again, if you're interested in the software, go ahead and put your name and your phone number in the questions box, and we'll be more than happy to get you taken care of right after the webinar. Now, this is a reel of a bunch of our clients, traders, but this particular woman here, she has a friend in my trade room. Where is she? In my trade room. And she wanted to learn how to trade. So she contacted, but her friend didn't want to teach her. He said, look, I'd love to teach you how to trade, but contact Market Rightline and let him help you, because he didn't want to be responsible if she lost money. And I could understand that. So she contacted Mark. She went into the office. He sat her down in front of the computer, taught her the setups, and for 4 months she sat there and he said, when you have a green background and all this stuff's lined up, I want you to click on buy on up close. And when you have a dark pink background and everything's lined up, I want you to click on sell on down close. So she did that, and she did that for 4 months. Well, to make a long story short, a year later, now she's a 6-figure trader. And I spoke to her on the phone and I asked her, do you trade every day? And her answer was to me, Mr. David, I don't trade every day. I have no setup. I don't push no button. That's it. She said, easy as that. I said, okay. I said, good, because that's what we do in the room. Here's a guy. He says, I've been trading 25 years. This was May of this year, right? And this was at Trustpilot. He says, I've been honestly saying the money flow tracker system is one of the smartest tools I've added to my toolbox. The layout of a single chart gives me everything I need at a glance. And this is true. And this is one of the reasons why I bought it, was because I don't need to look at 3 charts to tell me the market's in an uptrend or the market's in a downtrend. I need to look at one chart. One chart gives me everything I need to look at. This was a guy that was in a webinar just like you were. He sends me a message in the text box. And his thing is, I am the world's worst trader. He said, but I like what I see, and I'm willing to give your software a try. Will you help me? So I said, absolutely. So I took him underneath my wing. And he sent this letter in about a couple months after to Rightline. And he says, look, I started watching David's trade room every morning and learns the trade methodology. More important, the rules for trading. We only take specific setups, and we follow the rules. We have around 70% win rate. I have 7 accounts at Apex and 7 accounts at Buellnox. Well, now he has 20 accounts at Apex, 10 accounts at Buellnox, and I don't know, he's got counts all over the place. Anyway, then he goes on saying, the money flow tracking software with David's methodology rules allow me to act like a robot, eliminate any guesswork or emotions from my trading. We use the entry tool called the NDT, which I showed you, which allows a single push button to enter a trade when you see the correct setup. So every day it's simple for him. If he sees a setup, he pushes the button. If he sees a setup, he pushes the button. Oh, by the way, did I say if he sees a setup, he pushes the button, right? So about 2 weeks ago, he sends me this message in the questions box in the room, and he says, plus $4,265, trading 4 accounts, ring the bell, and he left the room, and he was done trading for the day. He traded for 1 hour and 6 minutes. And he made $4,265, right? Again, this is what we're doing, 50% off each particular membership. And Rory also said, if you're interested in the software, just put your name and your phone number in the questions box, and he'll call you and you'll get your discount and everything along with it. All right? So if you're really interested, you can do that, or you can Remember, the coupon code is save 50%. Save 50%, which means 50 and the percent sign. Okay, all one word, no spaces. And like I just said, if you like to put your name and your phone number in the questions box, we'll call you after and you can do your purchase then. All right, but we'll have that link fixed shortly. He just sent me a message. He's logging in now to fix it. So it'll be fixed within the next probably couple minutes. Go ahead, let me give that a try here again. See if you got it fixed. Technology is great, isn't it? I didn't get it fixed yet. Maybe, let's see. No, he didn't fix it. It'll be fixed within the next couple minutes. He just said he was logging in to fix it. All right, that's pretty much all I have. Anybody have any questions? Yes, I've been trading with this software for over 4.5 years. What did we do last year? I can show you that really easy because all I need to do is click on last year's. Now, last year we had a great summer. This year, not so much. This year has been really choppy. So look, last year, here's my equity curve from last year. We did $120,900 last year. Okay, look at some of the months we had last year. 11,000, 9,000, 19,000, 13,000, 12,000. And this was June, July, and August, right? 13,000. September was slow. 11,000 October, 12,000 November, right? This is what we did last year. This was my equity curve from last year with a 75.19% win rate at a 3.40 profit factor. That is crazy profit factor. All right, let me see if let me see if he's got it fixed. All right, well, just remember the coupon code is save 50 and the percent sign afterwards. Let me try it one more time. Let's see what. It usually applies to coupon code automatically. You don't even have to put it in here. So when you come to this link, the coupon code will be applied automatically. He's fixing that now. I don't know what happened to it. So, all right, everybody. I want to thank you for attending the webinar. I look forward to working with each and every one of you in the trade room, get you up to speed to where you need to be, where you're making money consistently. Like I said, the Auto Trader is an amazing tool that we use and we trade with it every day. And the thing about the Auto Trader is like here, somebody wanted to see this, right? Yeah, I could have left this on and had it run all night, right? And if I left this on and had it running all night, would have taken the trades right here. You should need at least 3 bars to the pivot. So it would have taken a trade right here. This one would have exited at 340 ticks. This one would have taken the trade right here, and it would have exited at 212 ticks. And then we had that other one here today. So that's 550 ticks. And then we had this one here that I showed you earlier with another 200 ticks, let's say. So it's 700 ticks on 3 trades. And all she did was turn it on in the morning. Pretty amazing stuff. All right. I want to thank everybody for attending the webinar. I look forward, like I said, working with each and every one of you. Save the link That'll be fixed in a couple minutes. And have a great evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you're located. We actually have traders all over the world. We have a lot of traders from Asia. We have a lot of traders from Australia, believe it or not. So take care and bye-bye.